Now, in this context, in the context that we talk about agriculture, commercial agriculture, we can talk about so-called the gene revolution. The gene revolution is actually another term for that is genetic engineering. Okay? This is the kind of a technology that developed since the mid 1990s, mostly by the private food food industry, privately owned food corporations, mostly in developed countries, in MDCs. We know under natural conditions, it would take a very long time to come up with a new species. It would take a long time, many rounds of growing crops, combine elements from different species to grow a long time and to come up with a new species. But with gene revolution, they can slice the cells of different organisms and to combine their DNAs. So it directly introduces DNAs from different sources into the cells of other species. That come up with a new species, a new organism very quickly. And the reason that they want to come up with the new species is that the new species tend to carry the traits that are desirable traits, such as high yield, herbicide tolerance, and insect resistance, and also high nutrition levels. So they look for this kind of a new species that have tremendously high yield, high resistance to all kind of crop growing problems. That's why they want them. And the issue is that with this kind of very quick way to come up with new crop species, people begin to concern about whether those kind of so-called GMOs are they really good for human health? Also, are they really good to the environment? They're not sure about whether there's a new species when they begin to get into the wild, they blend with the native species. What's going to happen to the native vegetation species, and eventually what's going to happen to the environment? Some people also feel that is it really safe to consume these kind of new crops that are created in the lab. So that's why many countries regulate import of GMOs, food, animal feed. Here on this slide, you can get a sense of some major biotech crops, basically several types: soybean, cotton, corn, and canola. So they have reached a pretty high percentage of the total food supply in the United States. And here is this chart shows in the United States the percentage of soybean, cotton, and corn that come from genetically modified species have reached a very high percentage. All have reached almost nearly 100%. So that has been quite dominant in the U.S. agriculture, especially for some particular kind of crops that have reached a very dominant position. Okay. And this map shows that countries that grow GMOs, also those countries that are significant importers of GMO crops. And here are some of the GMO products that has become very common in the U.S. We can see that the canola, the corn, the cottons, the soybean, sugar beets, and also papaya. Papaya is really a kind of interesting, successful story of GMOs. We know papaya used to be mainly grown in Hawaii, but during the 1990s, there's a major kind of pest attack. Therefore, a lot of papaya farm was destroyed. and the papaya industry almost just gone. And because of the GMOs, they use GMO genetically modified papaya species, and that makes the papaya industry in Hawaii uh, gain successful recovery. Okay. But also some GMOs were not quite successful. During the 1990s, the market introduced GMO tomatoes, but eventually withdrew because consumers do not quite like the taste of tomatoes that are produced from GMO technology. So the fate of GMOs eventually had to be tested through the market. So if consumers like them, you can they can expand. But in case such as tomatoes, that is a case of failure. Okay. So now a related current issue is, should we worry about the food that are produced from GMOs, or should food from GMO sources be labeled? So we know that there's a debate on both of these questions. Again, so you guys can uh, look up some materials and to prepare to answer the questions on the test as bonus questions. So this is a map that shows that countries that require GMO labels. So in the question that we raised from last slide, I'd like to see what do you think. Okay. So this is a map that this is a chart that show that rapid food growth. The blue line compared with the line that show the growth of a population. Also, the last line, the purple line, show the agricultural land. You know, the agricultural land for the entire world as a whole has always been flat. There's no much increase in the amount of land that you use to produce crops. But still, the food increase still much faster than the growth of the population. That is something that fundamentally support the existence of human population. But why, without increasing in land, the food can still grow so rapidly? One answer, the technology. So with this green revolution, with the gene revolution technology, that's largely responsible for the more rapid growth of food than the growth of a population for the entire world as a whole.